All right, hi everyone, welcome back. Happy lunch break to everyone. My name is Logan Everett. In case this is your first time tuning in, we're doing a chat series, getting to know everybody at the Dare2B family. So we have Facebook here, we have Instagram there, so you can follow us on either one. And welcome back. We might have some technical difficulties if that happens, it's fine. So yeah, I'm here with Monica, and we're going to get to know her a little bit better. I'm currently the Corporate Engagement Coordinator, that's my position, and then she also works on the leadership team. So you can just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, hi, my name is Monica. I've been with Dare2B since 2015. I came across Dare2B kind of like a very roundabout way. First, I went to an Eventbrite networking event. It was like a shop with a purpose, where I met the founder, Roxana. And I kind of like, she was very amiable and everything. And I was left with a good impression. But then we kind of lost touch. And then I went to a Latino professional event and we reconnected there.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so then I kind of like got to know more about her organization, and it really interested me because I feel like it kind of covered all the bases of things that were important to me in terms of children, in terms of just basic stuff like hunger, where they live, and just
the basic necessities.
Right. And I was like, it's really impressionable that that's so prevalent in this day, in this country and everything. Yeah. So I was like, that's something I was really interested in. And I've always been that kind of person who likes to do volunteer work. I've always been a believer in that expression about what they say, that service is the rent you pay for living on this planet.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So, so that's about it. And so once I started as a project coordinator for Dare2B, and kind of like that's how I got to know people, and I've kind of like rotated to different roles, so I think that's kind of fun because I got to explore lots of facets of the nonprofit life, where I used to work for an advertising company, so it's very different, but I really enjoyed that because I got to see really in-depth behind the scenes of what a nonprofit does. So that's really fascinating.
Yeah, there's a lot of administrative stuff that goes on that I think sometimes people forget that it's a lot of work in the background. It's not just being able to volunteer all the time. It takes a lot of work and a lot of planning, and so you do a lot. So it's
definitely
amazing.
A lot of behind the scenes stuff that nobody realizes that. Yeah, like it's lots of details, a lot of logistics, lots of anticipating things. So, but it's really gratifying because I feel like, it kind of fulfills the need that you're doing something valuable for somebody else.
Right, exactly, yeah. And you're from New York? Or?
Yes, I'm from New York. My parents are Colombian, but I was born and raised in New York, and went to school out of state. I'm actually not out of state, upstate.
It feels out of state sometimes.
I wish. Once upon a time, after college, I did live in California for like a short period, but I kind of like feel like once a New Yorker, always a New Yorker.
Oh yes, for sure.
So
that's cool.
I kind of had to come back.
So yeah, it's nice that you get to help out your community, where you grew up. And I mean, was it something that you noticed whenever you were a kid? Were you aware that there was such a problem with lack of care for these kids in terms of like, the necessities, a home? Did you realize that homelessness for children was such a prevalent issue?
That's actually what I learned because of it. You do like general, that people learn about homelessness, and you have this idea that it's always kind of like adults, and you kind of forget that children come along with it, and it's lots of families, and how they say you're only a paycheck away from being homeless, and the cost of living is very high, especially here in New York. Housing is very limited, or it's very restrictive. So I did see it. So it's just kind of part of being in New York. If you travel, outside different neighborhoods, and you just get to see how all kinds of people live.
Wow, yeah, wow. All right, so, you got connected with Roxana through the first time you volunteered, and then you met her again at a networking event, which I think is really serendipitous. I think it's really cool. So, you mentioned that you were involved, you're super involved in terms of the leadership. I know that just because when I first volunteered, you're the one that responded to all my emails. But have you seen, like, how have you seen Dare2B grow? Has it been, for you, just as somebody who's been, you know, working with Roxana, have you seen it grow quickly? Has it been a more gradual growth? I mean, how is it behind the scenes?
I feel like it's been like a gradual but kind of like consistent growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like, and this now that I'm a volunteer coordinator, I get exposed to different circles where you can see, you know, exposed to more types of people, and they kind of do want to get involved once they know. You know, if you start off with a skeleton crew, that you could only get so far.
Right.
So, and since we're all volunteer right now, it's kind of like a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of it's like a slow progressive kind of growth. So, but I feel like it's great now. I feel like all of a sudden sometimes it's a little bit explosive.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say, is there a specific time period that you feel like it gets a little?
Like I feel now, I mean, they're always, you know, members of the leadership team and stuff, but it's kind of like since Dare2B started more as a holiday event and stuff, but now it's become more consistent with the programming. I feel like now it's great. Now we have like great new team members, such as yourself. I think you're fantastic. And it's just, I think it's amazing. And I think I look forward to many new things to come. And I hope, you know, you guys will hear about it. Hopefully, if you come tomorrow, hint, hint, we're having a rooftop.
Exactly. And it's on Friday. It's going to be beautiful outside. It's not going to be humid. So
yes,
we're praying for that one.
We're looking for lots of fun and lots of
fun, lots of helping. It's going to be great. In your opinion, this is one question that we had submitted. In your opinion, what is the potential impact that Dare2B can have on the global scale? I know that the trip to the Dominican Republic's coming up. How do you see that impact happening, and what's the future goals for Dare2B?
Well, I mean, obviously the founder kind of knows a little bit more, but from my perspective,
that's a big question.
Yeah, from my perspective, I do see, like everything is a ripple effect, right? So, you know, we started here in New York because there was a need here. And just through avenues in life and connections with people, you kind of see, oh, look, definitely in other countries that exist. So it's kind of like if you do a service in another area, that kind of have a ripple effect there. Right. And little by little, it kind of can expand. And hopefully, you know, we could reach the whole world. And we already, you know, hopefully some more countries are in the horizon.
Right,
and we could probably have like, you know, global volunteers. And I think it would be amazing because I'm like on the list.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting you said ripple effect, because that's so true. I mean, if you impact one child's life, then that would have a lasting impact on them and have them be inspired to help the next generation. And it is a generational thing because it's a generation of children, you know, and they're going to be the future leaders and the change makers and the future nonprofit owners. So it's really important.
God willing, yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So your job is very, excuse me, your position here is a lot of logistics and it can get stressful, but what is your favorite part about your job at Dare2B?
Well, like I said, I kind of had different roles and everything like that. So I've like done project coordinating, I've helped with, you know, the operations, I've helped in a lot of different ways. But I do kind of like the role I'm doing right now with the volunteer coordinating. Yeah. I get to, you know, I make an attempt to do more network events, do like work with an expat group and things like that. So kind of like develop or kind of like recruiting. Right. So it's kind of like another new skill I'm kind of learning about recruiting. So I think that could apply. That could apply to other areas.
Absolutely. I think that's interesting that you mentioned that, because you are the first person that most people have an interaction with, you know, and you kind of you introduce people to this this organization, so it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I love it because I'm really, you know, I found something I'm really passionate and something I really believe in. So it's kind of easy to hopefully enthuse people to participate.
Yeah. Well, you got me, so that's totally your thing. So have you noticed? This kind of correlates to that question as well. Have you noticed any new skills that you've gained through working with Dare2B that has helped you, you know, professionally, personally, just some skills that you weren't expecting to gain from this job?
I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of like, try to develop more leadership skills, kind of like more, maybe some technical skills, honestly, kind of like trying to get more technical savvy, hopefully, in this new generation of videos, things like that. So it's kind of like I'm a little bit old school. So
hey, we're on Facebook Live, Instagram
I know,
Live.
I'm very nervous. I'm nervous about this. I was really, because I'm like, I made a joke. I'm like, it's my little 5 minutes of fame. So
don't worry, we can have you on for more than 5 minutes. It's all good. No, it can be very daunting. I mean, I grew up with Facebook, and this is it's daunting for everyone, so it's totally fine. So one question that I asked Roxana, our founder, that I think is really important is are there any stigmas around homelessness that maybe you've noticed are just completely false through your work, or maybe a preconception that you might have had yourself that has been dispelled by working with this organization?
I think like I said earlier, I wasn't aware like how many children are affected by homelessness and all the families actually.
Right.
And it's funny because just yesterday we met with some families at the sites, and it like struck me again because I spoke to this woman. And it's like basic, kind of like one woman, she wanted like her children to not get in the wrong circles. She just wanted a better life for the kids. And I looked in her eyes, and it really touched me yesterday because I was like, that's the essence of everything, just a better life, kind of just to be in peace and just have where to eat, kind of an education, kind of like a purpose and a direction, or kind of like an opening to possibilities and hope for something better for the future for the kids, and they're not stuck in that situation. So I don't know, I think that's kind of like my thing. And just like the circumstances in which they live in, it's just, I don't know how to say it, It's like surprising in this United States, New York, that people live in like single units, and it's not even an apartment. So it's a very impacting to me because I get to visually see it.
Right. You're there, and you
don't think about it,
right.
So, but when you actually see it, you realize, wow,
right.
And you do appreciate, and sounds cliche, but you do appreciate what you do have. And I'm definitely thankful for all the things I do have, and I'm happy to help.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting because you were mentioning just common things that parents worry about, no matter what socioeconomic status you have as a parent. All parents want their children to be happy. No parent wants their child, to get in with the wrong crowd or make a mistake or something negative, health issue or anything like that. But what people don't, I think, really appreciate, like you said, is those concerns are so much more devastating when you don't have stability in terms of income, or you are dealing with a really tragic and traumatizing situation where you kind of lose your autonomy when you live in these places. You lose your sense of self, I think,
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the things I do appreciate also about Dare2B, because we do approach them as individuals, and we call them by name, and we kind of just do little things, and they're very appreciative also. They do really appreciate it, and you have no idea. Like we do the pop-up shops, which is one of the avenues we use to teach financial awareness. And in our pop-up shops, that's how we teach children about savings and spending, even though they might not have money, but at least it's a source because they earn rewards, and this is how they purchase things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of thing. So now we're going to have, hopefully in September, we'll have pop-up shops for their school supplies. And I mentioned that to actually the mom yesterday, and she was so excited about that cool. because she didn't know how she was going to get school supplies for her children. So that's just also basic, like a notebook and a pencil and a backpack. And you're like, wow, anybody could help with this. This is really in this day and age in the world of Walmart, where everything is like 50 cents. I'm like, everybody can help.
Right, exactly. It's just $1, 1 penny, it adds up, it accumulates.
Yeah, and you do see, and I appreciate that also, that I get to see that directly. Like, people donate money and they don't know where it goes. And if you wanted to see that, you're able to, and you kind of just see the difference it makes in a person, and it's something immediate.
Right, because it's not just, also like you said, it's not just about, you know, writing a check. It's also about forging a relationship, you know, knowing that mother by her first name, because quite frankly, we're all humans, right? We're all in this together, and you know, your economic status doesn't define you. And it's really, I think it's amazing, the relationship, because we do work with children for a long period of time. You get to know them, and you're like family, you know. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
and I love that too. Yeah, because it gets them so excited, and the smiles on their faces, and the eyes are all glowing, and I don't know, it just really warms my heart. So I love to see that.
I'm like, that's so beautiful. Yeah,
I know you've been there too. So
yeah,
you get to see that as well, right?
It does. It's sometimes you feel like you're getting so much out of it. Like you feel like, you know, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a beautiful.
It's just an innate something that feeds your soul.
Right. Exactly.
That's kind of what I feel it as. I don't know how anybody does. I can only speak for myself.
Well, it's just like looking out for your fellow brother and sisters.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna segue from to go into more personal stuff with you. I was gonna say it's both equally as fun and beautiful and light and amazing. So the first question is, what is your favorite dessert?
Oh my goodness, desserts are great, but I'm trying to be more, you know, aware, healthy. Kind of actually, I'm trying to eat more healthy. But I do like all kinds of like fruits, like strawberries and watermelon.
Back to the old school stuff.
Yeah,
the stuff from the earth. I forget
because why not? You know, and like indulgences. As a matter of fact, my brother was so sweet and thoughtful yesterday. A surprise, he brought me a piece of tiramisu cake. So that's amazing. That was amazing. I love those surprises.
Good brother.
Yes.
Good brother. So, and the last question we have here is, are you currently reading any books or any TV shows that you're really inspired by? What entertainment are you indulging in?
Let me see. Well, now it's been very hot, so I like to ride my bicycle, but it's way too hot to do it, and I don't want to fall off the bicycle. Right? But I do, honestly, my indulgences, I love romance novels because
why not?
Because I don't know, I love love, right?
Right. Exactly. Totally.
I love love, and honestly, I kind of feel like it's important to be an informed and educated citizen, and you know, help with democracy. So I'm kind of also trying to learn what's going on in, you know, today's world, kind of like learn reports and educate myself and be like a good voter and things like that. So that's kind of like also another thing. I don't know, just also trying to learn about nutrition, like how food is medicine.
Right.
So I don't have a particular book. I kind of read like 2 or 3 books.
It all encompassed.
I kind of read 2 or 3 books at a time, little bits and little bits. So unless I get into a really good book, because I'm a big fan of the Outlander series.
Oh yeah, it's very good.
So I love Outlander. I could read those like straight. Like what do you call? I don't know if there's such a word of binge reading. Yeah,
I think that's a thing. That's probably what it originally was, and then
I've always also me too. That's like as a kid, that was like my refuge, the library. Like that's the only way my mom would let me go out. If I say I'm going to the library, they're like, "Yeah, you want to hang out?" No, I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll hang out at the library."
Right, exactly. Then you get to you kind of learn from that situation, like what's the most entertaining book. Like you can just spot it on the bookshelf from the cover. I feel
to this day I love the library. It's like I think also New York Library is the most what is it, best kept secret. They have so many resources and everything like that. So that's another thing. So that's kind of about it. And like Dare2B takes like a lot of my time.
I was gonna say you're reading emails more than anything. But.
That's true, but I love to. You know, I get excited when we get new volunteers, and they also participate, and they give me feedback if they're enjoying the experience, and if they let me know how else. You know, we're open to suggestions, and we're very amicable or amiable or welcoming to suggestions, because you know, we live and learn from each other. Right. So.
Well, and I think it's really amazing, the leadership team, and I think the founder Roxana, she really sets this precedent of being like, they just want what's best, you know, like she just has no, you know, ego about herself, and the same with you. It's like, you know what, we're open to suggestions. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like
right. It's like trial and error. That's just how else could we do it, right? You
Right,
gotta
exactly.
be like a little bit flexible because some things you just can't control.
Yeah, totally. So I know that we have, you organize the volunteers. So I was just curious if you could tell us a little bit about like the corporate volunteers and the volunteers that are from like the general public, essentially the same way I did. So how are different ways that, obviously the corporate side I assist with, but in terms of like signing up to volunteer, if you're just, you know, perusing the internet and find Dare2B, how do they do that?
It's very simple to, you know, volunteer with us. You could contact me obviously directly. Should I give my email?
Yeah.
You could volunteers@dare2b.org, or you can, we usually post on Volunteer Match. We always have there, or we do signups. So it's easy to register, or just through the website, the Dare2B website. Feel free to sign up and for our newsletter. That's so you could be up to date, or a Facebook page. Or Instagram, you know,
all these places.
There's just no way that you can miss how to
come visit us.
And it's a very easy name, Dare2B, so no problem.
It's the number 2. Don't spell it out because I had that problem for a while.
That's my favorite number.
So, and then as for corporate volunteers, they're a really important part of Dare2B's program, especially because you can volunteer your time, you can volunteer, you can donate, but you can also volunteer your skill set. So if you're an attorney and you are willing to, you know, help maybe on the more logistical side, if we need like some paperwork or stuff like that.
Definitely, yeah. We could definitely, you know, use it. And I think roles can be customized, and
absolutely.
If you want to develop proper resources if necessary.
Absolutely, yeah. And a great thing about Dare2B also is that everyone has I think it's still on. Yeah, it does that sometimes.
Okay.
We're all good.
Okay, I'm learning.
It's really cool because, like you said, you worked in advertising, so everyone here has such incredible corporate experience as well. So it's a great way to network and help people. It's a win-win any way you go about it, which is really amazing. So I guess the last thing would be is, do we have any live questions from the audience? Don't think so.
We have Janice that says that she would love to coordinate something with you, Monica, to volunteer.
Oh, fantastic.
Yay.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Thank
just contact me.
Janice Reyes Sanchez.
Oh, yes, I know her. Shout out. Hi, Janice. Thanks for logging in.
Yeah, you can just message your Facebook. I think it's linked on here. Or you can just put a comment, and then we'll make sure that your email's on there.
Yeah,
Yep, we included the email there, volunteers@dare2b.org.
Way ahead of it. All right.
Fantastic.
Well, I guess we're wrapping it up. That's about it. But it was amazing. Thank you for, you know, putting yourself on this chopping block and introducing yourself to everyone. And yeah.
That's it. I hope to see you guys tomorrow at our rooftop event.
Yes, tomorrow.
Oh, and we have an anniversary event. Dare2B is 10 years old.
Yay.
So in September, we'll be celebrating. So you're all welcome. Don't forget to buy your tickets before July 31st so that you have ultra early bird tickets.
Ultra early bird, yes.
Those are $25. That's
Yes,
a great
it's a
cause.
great,
And
great
you're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great venue. And I look forward to seeing a lot of you. All of you guys who are in my network, please come.
Yes, yes, everyone in your network and my network, everyone, please come. And congratulations and
Thank you.
Happy 10-year anniversary, and thank you so much for all the work that you do.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
I always get this.